All right.
That
And
moisture content
I
here.
know,
this
man, that
humidity.
temperature drop.
Oh,
Oh,
brrr.
we love doing this.
Yes. Anyway, well,
Welcome back.
thank you for letting me off the hot seat.
Oh, you're so welcome. Anytime. Yeah. No, but
It's
thanks
not my
for.
favorite thing to talk about myself, but hopefully I did it.
No, I appreciate you
way
taking taking you guys through it, taking me through it, because your origin story is fascinating. I mean, starting where you did and where we are now.
Yeah, and I mean, in many ways, it's something that I still. It's not that I didn't believe that this was possible, but I didn't expect it to happen in many of the ways that it did, and to get to this level of both clientele and experience and things. And now I am excited to share and to give back and do different things in this season. But anyway, enough about me. I'm done. No, I don't like talking about me. Why am I still talking?
We're done. You're done.
So, Sam,
Yes.
your turn for the hot seat.
Sure. Fire away.
So, Sam Terrell.
That's
Who
me.
is Sam Terrell? Where did Sam come from? Tell us how a little bit about how Sam became Sam today.
Sure. So yeah, my origin story is a little different. I came from a significantly more urban background. My dad was in show business. My mom was an interior designer.
Like Hollywood.
Hollywood.
This guy knows some people who I don't really know who they are, but apparently they're big people.
They're people. But my dad was a character actor. He was a disc jockey, a shock jock type guy, and so he and my mom met. She was a Yankee from New Jersey, and he was a Southern Italian guy from New Orleans, and they got together, and basically our upbringing was bouncing between the coasts, between California, East Coast, just following his job. And we lived in New York City, we lived in Los Angeles, but it was the only guy in my family that was fascinated with the outdoors. And so every endeavor over the course of my life has had that at the center of it. And I don't know where that came from. It was just an innate thing. And so it's
kind of ironic because I'm almost in the same. We've never talked about this before, but I almost have the same situation. Yes, I was raised rural.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know where the hunting and fishing and all because nobody else in my family does it.
No, and to just give you an idea of what I'm talking about, my mom's a Quaker pacifist.
More extreme than my situation.
Yeah, much more extreme. And my dad was, really not into hunting and fishing. But when I graduated high school, I was looking at colleges, talking to my parents, and I said, this 4-year thing doesn't feel quite right. I want to do something else. And they said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, to be honest, I'd love to go to gunsmithing school. And they were like, gunsmithing school, what's that? I was like, well, let me show you. And so
I build guns.
I build guns and do stock work and become a machinist. And so it was pretty amazing. My parents really leaned into it, and they helped me at 18 after graduating. That you had to be 21 to get into the program. I had to get letters written from deans and stuff, but I got accepted into the Master Gunsmithing School in Prescott, Arizona. And I was there for 2 years, got certified as a master gunsmith, lived out my childhood fantasy of cowboying up and riding horses. I worked as a hunting guide, rode horses, cowboyed, and it was everything that I had wanted in my life that I hadn't been able to taste yet. And it really set the foundation for an understanding of the discrepancies between urban and rural spaces.
That's an interesting fact. I never really thought about that before, of how firsthand that is for you, of coming from that background and then being able to interface with clients and people and being in band especially.
Oh yeah,
that's a huge.
It was a huge shift, and and I took what I learned there, and the deal I made with my parents was if I went to gunsmithing school, I had to get a 4-year degree afterwards. So I followed through on that promise and ended up applying and getting accepted to UC Berkeley, and went there and finished up my 4-year with a background in society and environment, focusing on international environmental policy, grazing, and environmental science as a whole. So,
but if you're coming straight from gunsmithing school, how
It-
well do you fit in?
It was an interesting transition. It was definitely, there's a learning
So you
curve
went from a hunting guide, cowboying, gunsmithing school
to Birkenstocks in the Bay. Yeah. Yeah, it was a big switch. But it was amazing, and it actually, and for the line of work that I'm in now, it really helped build an educational foundation for the type of properties that I'm engaging with. And also, like you were saying, the area that I live in, Bend, is that quintessential urban rural space where you have a lot of urban expansion, but you still have a lot of rural area. You have a lot of outdoor adventure type stuff, and there's a lot of different people existing in that space. And so it's both of those experiences help me interface with those.
From Patagonia backpackers to grazing to fishing, hunting, like
Yeah.
you're familiar with a lot of different circles. Much, I mean, more than I.
And I can truly say that I enjoy interfacing with all those different people and interacting with them, because I get to learn from them and get to share my knowledge, and really kind of that camaraderie that we're talking about before from the shooting sports. It's the same thing in that space.
Yeah, absolutely. So from college, you spent a little bit of time as a business or with your family business.
Yeah.
And then you got into real estate. So talk us through how you ended up in real estate. What happened between college and where you are now?
Sure. So, yeah, when I was in college, my dad had started this business called Bubba Box, where we were building hunting and fishing camps out of shipping containers.
Which is awesome.
It was a total random cool thing. And so I graduated, and he needed some help with that business. So I just jumped in with both feet and started working in fabrication yards with welders, learning how to coordinate transnational truck shipping and container movement, learned to drive forklifts, big machinery, and it was really fun. And after a time, there was a change in my family, and I just ultimately decided to move on from the Bubba Box scenario, and we sold that company. And at that time, I had kind of carte blanche for what I wanted to do next, and was going through.
So at that point, how old were you? 25?
I want to say I was 20. No, I was a little older than that, like 26,
Gotcha.
26-ish. And so I had gone to a mentor friend of mine and said, hey, I'm in this new position in my life, knowing who I am, what my personality is like, what would you recommend? And he said, honestly, I would go get your real estate license. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, no, you're gregarious. You like to work with people. You love interacting and building relationships. I'd give it a try. And so my girlfriend at the time, Erica, now my fiance, we're getting married in October. Very excited.
You'll hear that a lot from him lately.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm thinking about. But we had kind of this opportunity to search around the West, because my mom lives in California and her family is originally from Medford. And so we were looking at places to live, and Bend just felt amazing. And so we walked through. It felt like being at California Adventure or something in Disneyland. There's beautiful trees, river running through it. I mean, it was as picturesque as you can imagine. And we decided to go for it. And we've been there for a while now.
Yeah.
And that's when, after moving to Bend, I took the class and got my real estate license, and then started to look around for a brokerage.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
how'd you find us?
So that one's another fun one. So I don't know, for those of you who haven't gotten your real estate license, there's this whole process of getting your license, and then after that, there's like a window of time where you interview at different brokerages, and you're trying to figure out who you want to work with.
You pretend like you know what you're actually
exactly.
Like,
there's a lot of faking it till you make it in that time. And I wasn't super enamored with the residential space alone. So I was debating where I was going to go and what I was going to do. And as I'm thinking all of my little thoughts, I open the hunting and fishing regs for the state of Oregon. And on page 2, there's this huge ad for, would you like to be an outdoor broker? Call Landleader. And it was for Landleader.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I want to do. So I picked up the phone and pitched myself in about a minute and a half, and was signed on and started working for Landleader. And it was my first brokerage, and I'm still here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But that's just, I think that's just a testimony to what we do being different from so much of the real estate industry.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and it was super funny. A lot, to open a hunting regulation book and then find my career. I think that's a fairly rare thing.
Yeah. So, little background. So I wasn't the person who took the phone call, but A little while after you'd been working there and you'd done a little bit of business and
Mm-hmm.
things, we were in that 2019 period,
Right.
and we were starting to grow. And I'd met you at a couple of different functions, and I saw a young man who, maybe not the thing you always lead with in this culture that's so focused on pride and different things, but Sam was someone who like deeply cared and seemed to follow through on everything, and just the engagement that you have was so unique in my mind to someone both of your age, but in our industry as a whole. I was very, I guess, intrigued by some of those character and the culture that could potentially bring, and we had some conversations about what kind of training opportunities you were looking for, different things, and at that point, it was the same time Caleb came over, so
Yep.
you guys were
Right around
the first
2019.
two individual brokers to come on board. Um, I forget how exactly we got there, but you came to work with us, and
Yeah.
it was a
No, I remember the phone call. I mean, I was honored to knowing who you were, to receive the call. And yeah, I mean, speaking very frankly, I mean, you and I kind of made a deal about mentorship and establishing a foundation. And I greatly appreciate the fact that you reached out, and the fact that you entrusted me, like Nancy kind of entrusted you,
Yeah.
to come aboard. And it's been not only fun working with you and getting to know you, but it's you have greatly helped me, establish the foundation of my business, and thank you for that.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing the fruits of your labor.
Me too. Yeah, we're still grinding. We're still grinding. Yeah.
I guess the other thing about Sam, I think that he probably won't say, but he follows through on everything we've talked about. Like, he's a machine of following through, and he does that with all of his clients too. Like, I can't say. It's got to be because you care. Like, it's got to be just from an innate, you care to follow through on your word. You care what people think about you. You care that you can perform for what you say you're going to do.
Absolutely.
And that's got to be what drives it, because nothing else would be that strong to have you continually follow through. And I just that it's commendable. Most people, including myself, I think you follow through better than I do.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Sure, I'll take it.
Remember the fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can fake it pretty well.
Doing great. But, no, thank you.
Yeah. But so talk to me. You're a couple years, 2-3 years in, I guess 4 years in.
Rounding up. Yeah. Starting year 4. Yeah.
So now that you're transitioning from figuring out the business, figuring out how deals are done, to growing a business, where do you feel like the next few years could lead? Where are you hoping it leads?
Yeah, no, I'm hoping that these next years lead to me creating a business structure in Central Oregon, in the Bend area, Deschutes County, and the surrounding areas, that emulates what you've been able to do in Southern Oregon. I mean, that's really where my focus is. It's building a team. It's beginning to expand, but at the heart of that is really, I want to have relationships with people, and I want to get to know people and do right by them and have them trust me and build a business on that foundation, because it is really what drives me. I love it. I'm a big time people person. And the rapport I have with individuals in my community is expanding. It's happening with clients as well. And I just want to continue building on that foundation and fostering those relationships in the hope of achieving a very successful business in Central Oregon.
Yeah, and I think that'll happen if you staying relationship focused will lead to that. One of the beauty about real estate as well is it's very nimble.
Yeah.
So like you say, you want to build a team that replicates what we're doing. In many ways, the bigger picture, yes, absolutely. But you get to customize it.
Yeah.
For your personality, what works for you. Add the kinds of people to your culture that support you, support the brand, the mission, the different things. That's a pretty exciting opportunity. And I'm excited to see what you do and what Evan does, and whatever Caleb decides to do, whether it's team or becoming the elephant hunter that flies all around the country selling these ranches, whatever Caleb ends up doing.
Oh man.
I look forward to seeing what happens, and I guess that's really one of the most exciting things in this season of my business life is watching you guys.
No, and thank you.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to do.
Well, no, I know you want to do well too. Yeah,
but that's That's exciting.
It's really exciting, and it's one of those moments in life where, like you said, being nimble, but it's exciting to have autonomy in your own business,
Yeah.
and to come from a place of kind of starting where you were, where limited exposure to the industry, building a business, getting
Yep.
mentored, and then kind of getting not pushed out of the nest, but starting to fly on my own accord in the
You're getting
direction.
lots of opportunities to see if you land on your feet, your side, your head, whatever it might
Exactly.
be.
Yeah. And go through those processes and come out the other side better for it, and more effective both for me and clients as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely.
Camera. Okay. This is the farthest we've got in our podcast so far.
Yes.
We're to the closing statement. Almost.
So, yeah, I think it was appropriate that we started the first podcast with some introductions and talking about who we are and kind of where we come from. So moving forward, just kind of clarification, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna do this together. So it'll either be both of us or one of us, on all of these moving forward. There'll be different times where we'll get one of the other teammates involved, or we'll get somebody from the outside sphere, whether it be the lending world, the land use world, hunting guides. There'll be different opportunities. Like Mark Sue's a borderline professional shooter.
Yeah, big time.
Also within the industry.
Yeah,
and we'll have different opportunities to share different things. But much of what we're going to talk about comes from this outdoor lifestyle that we keep talking about.
Yeah.
You brought it up. I've talked about it. That's like one of the biggest core values of joining this group is, one of the mottos at Land Leader is, we live the lifestyle we sell.
Mm-hmm.
One of our taglines is outdoor. Our passion is the outdoors. Our business is real estate. And on the real estate side, what it really comes down to is land.
Yeah.
Land is the core of outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And in the real estate sector, what has made me, I'm a freedom. I hugely value freedom. I value this country. I value the ability to say what we want to say.
Yeah.
Do what we want to do what we want to do with our own, our own real estate, our own properties. I know a lot of these things. This is fraught with a lot of contention right now.
Currently, yeah.
But still, we're still in a better place than what I'd say the rest of this world, from a freedom perspective.
Yeah, we have a lot of opportunities out here.
Yeah,
a lot of opportunities.
And obviously, a little biased here, but I'm going to continue to fight to keep those freedoms and those opportunities and things like this available for generations to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this core value of outdoors, I think, is kind of what sets us apart, both professionally, but in a lot of ways personally, but maybe more so professionally.
Mm-hmm.
The real estate industry is made up of basically 3 or 4 sectors, the biggest being residential real estate, the second biggest being probably commercial. And then there's a kind of a hybrid of commercial and residential real estate, which is what I call luxury,
mm-hmm.
where they have to have more attention to detail, more reliance on who they know versus Zillow.
Yeah.
On the luxury side. But then there's this land side that we find ourselves in, which is like this hybrid of commercial, where we need to have the land use knowledge, the water right knowledge, the understanding of development entitlements, the understanding of just how to structure a deal that's a win-win. We have income as a significant element of a lot of the properties that we sell, whether it's cattle grazing, whether it's a vineyard, whether it's just a development opportunity down the road. But then we also have this luxury element, because some of the places we sell have some pretty spiffy houses.
Yeah, they're pretty fantastic.
Frankly, can't even fathom how nice some of the homes are that we get to set foot in.
I know.
And I don't consider myself to be a luxury broker, but I've learned a lot about it. But the core value of that luxury product that we're selling, it's sitting on land.
Yeah.
And typically there's a really cool thing about that land, whether it's a view, whether it's a river, whether it's several thousand acres, whatever it might be. So, our core values of being outdoor focused go perfectly together with land.
Mm.
And that's, I believe, what has kind of brought us all together and keeps us getting up every morning early and working hard and being excited about what we're
Yeah.
doing, is this idea of land. Whether that piece of land happens to be a farm, whether it's a ranch, whether it's a house with 2 acres,
Yeah.
it still comes down to that piece, which is land. And I say that to introduce this concept of the outdoors and the passion for the outdoors. Where do you think, for you personally, what when you get in the outdoors, what is it that drives you to keep coming back over and over? Why would you rather be fishing, hiking, doing whatever it is that's available to you? What's the core fiber behind that passion or that pursuit?
The core fiber behind my outdoor passion is it. I love the way that I feel when I'm out there. There's a component of it that's very personal. I would say that I have a love affair with land. You know,
Yep.
it's something that I deeply care about, and in finding. And this is true for real estate, and it's true for my personal endeavors outside. Is finding unique aspects that other people might not notice, that other people may not engage with right away, and being able to, one, take that in and internalize it because it gives me energy, makes me feel good. But then two, being able to share that with other people. And, you know, I come from a background where, you know, hunting was kind of an evil practice. That's where I was growing up. And,
Shame on me.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I really had to, you know, kind of bend my dad's ear and be like, hey, I want to go learn how to do this. And luckily he had a brother that, you know, took me hunting for the first time. And after that, it became a mantra for me to be able to explain to people that did not grow up around outdoor spaces. You know, I'm not talking parks and cities. I'm talking about land and national forest, BLM ground, and that didn't really understand what it was, what it represented, and why people were drawn to it. And it was a way for me to fill a part of my soul and help share that fulfillment with other people, and hopefully paint a picture that the more you know about outdoor spaces, the more you know about land, the more you know about this outdoor world, the more you can.
Well, I'll jump in here. There's a connection. It's almost a spiritual connection.
And that's why I'm flubbing trying to explain it. It's somewhere, somehow.
We're guys. We don't do real well with this like emotional explanation, but it's a very emotional topic.
It's a big emotional topic.
Because I know for me, especially recently, I guess a combination of things. One is a recent, again, pursuit of health to help me better enjoy the outdoors, but a pursuit, the real estate is, with photography and videography, has taught me to appreciate things that I never would have seen before.
Yeah.
Natural beauty. And for me, you know, being very much creation minded, like I just feel like I see God's hand everywhere. Like the creator, and it's almost like I'm the first person to tell you don't walk away from fellowship. Like be plugged in and fellowship, but it's almost like a similar experience when you're out in the woods or hunting, or you know you're seeing. I'm just gonna call it the paintbrush of God, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
and on the lighter side of it, it's just fun to be in the outdoors.
It's super fun, and I'm with you on that. Like for me, like the outdoors has always kind of been my church or my respite area. You know, it's where I go, like I said, to kind of be refueled.
Yeah.
And so and it's like, you know, when you're out somewhere and you're witnessing like a stunning sunset that we see when we're hunting, fishing, or on a property. No one else is there, and it almost makes you want to capture it on video or in a photo to be able to take that back and share that feeling that you had with other people. And so I think,
how many times are you really disappointed in that picture though? You're like, this doesn't do justice.
Often. It
can be a gorgeous photo, and you're still like, oh, this was not even.
Luckily,
close.
iPhones are getting better now, so things are starting to translate. But yeah, I mean, it's also, I mean, like, it's increased, for me, like that love affair that I have with it has basically been able for me to foster hobbies and passions and share them with other people. And I think that people don't attribute, natural spaces as a mechanism of fellowship and connection because you're out there in the middle of nowhere. But it has an effect on people.
Well, I think about the relationships. And let's use our team, for example.
Yeah.
When we get together normally a couple times a year as a group. And why do you think we become friends?
We have
some adventures.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the first time at Perry's house.
Oh man! So this is fun. I wasn't there at that. So we do this team building thing, and we're in Central Oregon, and the plan was to go duck hunting one morning before doing the team building thing. Yeah. So I get the decoys out. I'm at
you're a big time. I'm
a big time waterfowl guy, bird hunter and stuff. Yeah. And so I'm getting all these decoys out. I'm getting blind built. So I'm setting up. It's before dark, and I got everything ready for the team to show up. And then I get a phone call,
and I'll take over from there.
Yeah.
So I'm standing. So Perry was with our team for a while. He's doing his own thing now. We're in his house there in Central Oregon, and I'm sitting there. I have a cup of coffee in my hand, and I'm looking out the front. He's got a gorgeous view out back towards Prineville, and he's on a couple hundred acres. I'm sitting there drinking my coffee. I'm like, "Hey Perry, there's elk in your front field," and in a flash, he's just gone. And Perry's a pretty athletic guy. He's just gone, and I look over at Caleb. And both of us go, oh, I guess he has a tag. We didn't know he had a landowner tag for a cow elk. And we're sitting there in the living room next to the wood stove, all drinking coffee, looking out the front window. And a couple minutes later, gunshot goes off. Boom. Elk goes down. Run over to the tractor. Hook up the elk to the tractor. Take it back to the shop. And I'll tell you, Caleb is fast.
Oh, skinning. Oh, wow.
He and Tim Young, who was working for us time, those guys had that elk peeled. That's what my kids call it. Peeled.
Knock the bark off of it.
Yeah. In what felt like 2 minutes.
Wow.
So we went from drinking coffee to an elk like hung in the garage, ready to be processed in about an hour.
That's insane.
While you're out there trying to shoot ducks, wondering where in the world we are.
And I get this phone call saying, "Hey, we're going to be a little late. We got an elk hanging." I was like, "Okay, it's a great Tuesday."
So the duck hunting was not that good that day for us because we showed up.
Oh yeah,
an hour and a half late, 2 hours.
But it was. I mean, like, how often do you get to have coffee, shoot and skin an elk, then go duck hunting, and then go work on team-based stuff all in the same 24-hour period? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
And then that was probably the coolest story. But I mean, from shooting irrigation lines at team building events to
we were instructed. We were doing a little shooting, and we were all told just do everything but hit the irrigation lines. And then of course, I'm working on shooting a really tight group, and I put 3 shots to an irrigation line
that was buried in the ground.
Yeah, had no idea it was there. Yeah. We've had to
how we ingratiate ourselves to the ranch.
They got a kick out of it. They liked it.
Yeah. Anyway, but I mean, I think just to kind of recap this, I think the core passion of the outdoors and what allows that to work so well with real estate comes back to land.
Yeah.
But it comes back to us, like as a group. It comes back to you and Evan and Caleb and Alex and Ashley and everyone. Shannon, a great example. Everybody, we have a camaraderie within this group. And I just look forward to sharing more about that.
Yeah, and that's why we're doing this for you. I mean, we have a lot of characters on our team alone that we'd love to share. And there's a lot of people that we cross paths with that are going to be fun to bring forward and talk to. And hopefully this is something that you guys enjoy watching. And it's definitely stuff that we enjoy doing and talking about. So, I mean, this is...
now that we got this introduction kind of deal out of the way, we can dive into some stuff.
We can go play a little bit more. Yeah, absolutely.
So hope you enjoyed this. We appreciate just you tuning in, and honestly just look forward to connecting with everybody as opportunities present themselves. So thank you for being this little dance of getting in front of cameras.
Anytime.
Appreciate it.
And thank you all for watching and joining us today, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Hallelujah. Let's see if this actually worked.
Hey, man, we might be there. We may just have done it.
Still recording, and we have vocal.